So the Indian team awaits the beginning of their test match against New Zealand in Bengaluru, which hasn't been able to start since morning due to rain. But the Indian team has been building up towards the all-important Border Gavaskar Trophy to begin from the 22nd of November. It's going to be a 5-match test series this time around, unlike the previous occasions when we saw just 4 test matches each. But it's not just the Indian team who are eagerly waiting for the beginning of that series. It's also the Australian team, and the Australian skipper Pat Cummins very well knows who is that one player who needs to be kept quiet if Australia has to change things around this time. He said that I am a big fan of Bumrah. I think he is a fantastic bowler. Hopefully if we can keep him quiet, that is going to go a long way to winning the series. It was none other than JASPRIT BUMRAH who even Pat Cummins knows and agrees to that if a JASPRIT BUMRAH is kept quiet, he's kept silent and negotiated, then Australia would definitely be fancying their chances to win the series this time around. He also mentioned that the other Indian bowlers haven't been to Australia that often, so maybe the Australian team would go after the other bowlers and negotiate a JASPRIT BUMRAH so that JASPRIT BUMRAH isn't that effective and doesn't dent their chances of winning a test match that much. He really properly knows that JASPRIT BUMRAH is that one person who can play a pivotal role for the Indian team so as to win that series once again, which the Australian team is so desperate to win this time. He also talked about the Border Gavaskar Trophy in general. He said that the last 2 series were a long time ago. We have gotten over it. Fortunately, over the last few years, we have had some success in the World Test Championship final and a different format for the ODI World Cup. We'll be trying to lean on to those memories, as I'm sure the Indian team will be trying to remember some of the previous series over here as well. He knows that the Indian team will be looking forward or will be bringing the confidence of what they did in the last 2 series, one being that memorable historic series that India won last time around with majority of senior pros missing. The youngsters won that series. So India would be getting that confidence with them to Australia this time also, knowing that they can do well in those conditions. But Pat Cummins knows that Pat Cummins feels that it's been a very long time since that series happened, and now after that in between Australia has played some terrific cricket, be it the ICC World Test Championship where they managed to beat India and the ODI World Cup again where they beat India. So they would want to lean on to that, follow that same process they did, and also take this confidence this time when they come to play against the Indian team in this series. The Australian team is really hungry and desperate to win the series this time because they have almost won everything. It's just the Border Gavaskar against the Indian team that is missing in their title list. The Australian captain talked about the Indian captain Rohit Sharma also and was in all praises for him as well. He said, I've never played alongside Rohit Sharma, so I don't know him super well. But it has looked like the Indian team are pretty organized and pretty well planned. He really likes the way the Indian team is about how they go about their processes, how they are nicely well planned, well organized, and how they approach Test cricket in general. This is something Pat Cummins really likes, and that is exactly what he expects from the Indian team when the team goes for the Down Under series. Still a month and a few days to go before the marquee series of the year actually begin. The Australian team, the verbal battle between the two teams has already begun. Both the teams are building towards and working towards just one goal, and that goal is to lift that Border Gavaskar Trophy of 2024-2025.